The bakery team on your cruise ship finished making tomorrow's croissants at 4:30 this morning while you were asleep, and by the time you walk into the buffet 3 hours later, the best batch is already gone because 40 other passengers who know this hack got there first. That's not a theory, that's a timing pattern that crew members have confirmed on Reddit, in TikTok videos, and in interviews with cruise food bloggers who've sailed over 100 voyages. The breakfast most passengers eat on a cruise ship is perfectly fine. It's edible. It'll fill your stomach. But it's the equivalent of walking into a 5-star hotel and ordering room service toast when the restaurant downstairs is serving a free 7-course tasting menu. There are 13 breakfast hacks that separate the passengers who eat like royalty from the ones who spend a week eating lukewarm buffet eggs and wondering what all the fuss is about. Some of these are so simple you'll be annoyed nobody told you sooner. Others are so clever that even cruise veterans who've sailed 20 times haven't figured them all out. And hack number 11 is the one that crew members themselves use to eat better than the passengers they serve, which is ironic because the passengers are the ones paying for the food. The first hack is the single most impactful thing you can do on your entire cruise, and it takes exactly 0 extra effort. Skip the buffet on your first morning and go straight to the main dining room for breakfast instead. The main dining room is open for breakfast on most cruise lines, and on most mornings it's half empty because passengers either don't know it exists or they assume it serves the same food as the buffet. It doesn't. The dining room operates like a full-service restaurant. A waiter takes your order, the food is cooked fresh specifically for you, and it arrives plated on real china. The eggs are cracked to order. The French toast is made from thick-cut brioche that's been soaking in custard overnight. The pancakes come off the griddle 60 seconds before they hit your table. And here's the detail that turns this from a nice tip into a genuine hack. You can order as many items as you want. There's no limit. You want the eggs Benedict and the French toast and a side of smoked salmon and a basket of warm pastries? Order all of it. Your waiter won't flinch because the kitchen expects it. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Celebrity, Princess, Holland America, they all do this. The main dining room breakfast is the most underused free amenity on every cruise ship sailing in 2026. And the passengers who discover it on day 1 eat dramatically better for the rest of the voyage. The second hack is about the clock, and once you understand how the timing works, you'll never show up at the wrong moment again. The first 30 minutes after the buffet opens are the golden window. The croissants are still warm from the oven. The pastries haven't been sitting under heat lamps. The fruit display is at its freshest. The omelet station has no line. That window closes fast. By an hour into service, the croissants have cooled and lost their flakiness. The popular items are picked over, and the omelet line is 15 people deep. But here's what nobody tells you. Something interesting happens in the last 45 minutes before the buffet closes. The kitchen puts out a fresh round of everything to carry through the final stretch, and the crowd has thinned because most passengers have already eaten. That late window is the second best time to hit the buffet, and almost nobody takes advantage of it. The absolute worst time is the middle of breakfast service. That's when you're eating food that's been sitting the longest, fighting the biggest crowd, and getting the least attention from the kitchen. Shifting your timing by 30 minutes costs nothing, and it changes everything. The third hack is 1 sentence long, but it transforms the omelet station from good to incredible. Talk to the cook. Most passengers treat the omelet station like a vending machine. They point at ingredients, nod, and walk away with whatever the cook's default version is. Veteran cruisers do something completely different. They say specific things like extra cheese inside and on top, fold it tight, let the edges get crispy. That level of specificity changes the cook's behavior immediately. Instead of making a standard assembly line omelet, they treat yours like a custom order. The edges get more attention. The fillings get distributed carefully. The cheese actually melts instead of sitting in a cold lump in the center. The omelet cook on a cruise ship makes somewhere between 300 and 500 omelets per contract rotation. They can make an extraordinary omelet in their sleep. The problem is that most passengers never ask for one. 1 sentence of specific instructions is the difference between a forgettable egg wrap and a restaurant-quality omelet that's genuinely one of the best things you'll eat all day. And by the way, this principle of asking for exactly what you want doesn't just apply to omelets. It connects directly to the next hack, which involves a menu that technically doesn't exist. The fourth hack is the one that gets the strongest reaction from first-time cruisers, and it involves ordering something that isn't on the printed menu. If you sit down in the main dining room for breakfast and nothing appeals to you, ask your waiter if the kitchen can prepare a plain grilled chicken breast. a simple pasta with butter, a cheese quesadilla, or even just a bowl of buttered noodles on virtually every major cruise line? The answer is yes. The kitchen always has staple ingredients available that don't appear on the daily menu, and your waiter will almost always accommodate a reasonable off-menu request. This is especially powerful for families with picky eaters. If your 7-year-old won't touch anything on the breakfast menu, ask the waiter for a grilled cheese. The answer is almost always yes. Nobody advertises this because the cruise line can't guarantee every possible request, but the reality is that the kitchen has enough raw ingredients on board to make almost anything a passenger might reasonably ask for. The passengers who discover this stop feeling trapped by the printed menu, and the ones who never ask spend the entire cruise eating things they don't really want. The fifth hack saves you real hours on your vacation, and it has nothing to do with what you eat. It has to do with when and how you eat it. On port days, order room service breakfast the night before. Call guest services or use the ship's app to schedule breakfast delivery to your cabin at whatever time you need it. You wake up, the food is at your door, you eat while getting dressed, and you're walking off the ship while everyone else is still standing in the buffet line. Over a 7-day cruise with 4 port days, this saves you roughly 3 to 4 hours of port time total. That's an entire extra afternoon of exploring a destination that you would have spent waiting in line. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, Celebrity, and Princess all offer complimentary room service breakfast with eggs, pastries, fruit, yogurt, cereal, and coffee. On sea days, flip this hack around. Order room service to your balcony. Eating breakfast while watching the open ocean from your own private space is one of the most peaceful experiences on the entire ship, and it doesn't cost a single dollar extra. The room service menu isn't as extensive as the dining room, but it covers all the essentials, and the convenience factor on port days is genuinely game-changing. Hang the order card on your door the night before with your selections and your preferred delivery time, or call it in through the phone in your cabin. Some cruise lines now let you schedule it through the app on your phone while you're lying in bed, which means you can set up tomorrow's breakfast in 30 seconds before you fall asleep tonight. The passengers who figure out the room service hack on day 1 use it strategically for every port morning and never waste another minute of their precious shore time standing in a breakfast line. The sixth hack is about a section of the buffet that 90% of passengers walk straight past without stopping, and it might be the best food available at breakfast. The smoked salmon station. Most people associate smoked salmon with lunch or dinner, so when they see it at 8 in the morning, their brain skips right over it. That's a mistake. Cruise ships buy smoked salmon from established suppliers, and the grade they receive is typically higher than what you'd find at a grocery store. It's sliced thin, silky, and served alongside cream cheese, capers, red onion, and bagels. Building yourself a proper smoked salmon bagel takes about 40 seconds and gives you one of the most satisfying bites available at any meal on the entire ship. Celebrity, Holland America, Oceania, and Regent are particularly known for the quality of their breakfast salmon. And here's the bigger principle behind this hack. The items at the buffet that most passengers ignore are almost always the premium items. Because the kitchen puts out higher quality products in smaller quantities, knowing fewer people will take them. The imported cheeses, the charcuterie, the exotic fruits, they're all sitting there untouched while everyone crowds around the scrambled eggs and sausage links, which are the cheapest items on the entire spread. Caribbean and Southeast Asian itineraries are especially worth watching for exotic fruit, because the ship loads tropical produce at regional port stops. Ripe mango, papaya, dragon fruit, guava, and pineapple that was picked days ago instead of weeks ago show up at the breakfast buffet and taste nothing like the pale grocery store versions back home. If you see unfamiliar fruit at the buffet, take a piece. It might be the single freshest, most flavorful thing on the entire ship that morning. The seventh hack is about hidden breakfast spots that exist on cruise ships but get almost no traffic. On Royal Caribbean, the Café Promenade serves fresh pastries and coffee around the clock. On Carnival, the Blue Iguana Cantina makes fresh breakfast burritos to order starting early in the morning. On Princess, the International Cafe rotates its offerings throughout the day and serves everything on real china. Norwegian has O'Sheehan's, which serves a full full cooked breakfast in a pub atmosphere with almost no wait time even on the busiest sea days. These venues fly under the radar because passengers default to the two obvious options, the buffet or the dining room, and never explore what else is open. The breakfast burrito from Blue Iguana Cantina deserves special mention because it's one of the best portable breakfasts on any cruise ship. Made to order with scrambled eggs, cheese, salsa, peppers, and your choice of fillings, it takes about 2 minutes. It's generous in size, and you can eat it walking to the pool deck or heading to the gangway on a port day. The passengers who discover these spots often abandon the buffet entirely because the food is fresher, the lines are shorter, and the experience feels more like a neighborhood cafe than a cruise ship cafeteria. Disney Cruise Line has cabanas on their older ships and Marceline Market on newer ones, where the morning pastry quality rivals what you'd find at the bakery on Main Street in the theme parks. On MSC's newer ships, there are casual breakfast venues spread across multiple decks that passengers walk past every morning without ever peeking inside. The common thread across every cruise line is the same. The alternative breakfast spots exist because the ship can't funnel 7,000 passengers through one buffet, but the cruise line doesn't heavily promote them because spreading the crowd too thin would create staffing problems. Your gain. Their quiet secret. The 8th hack is about the one drink upgrade that most first-time cruisers miss completely. The juice dispensers at the buffet serve standard pre-made juice from concentrate. It's fine. It's the same orange juice you buy in a carton at the store. But many cruise ships also offer freshly squeezed juice either at a separate station near the buffet or through your waiter in the main dining room. The difference in taste is enormous. Fresh juice has a brightness, a sweetness, and a real pulp texture that the concentrate version cannot touch. Some ships charge $1 or $2 per glass, and it's worth every penny. Others include it for free in the dining room. Norwegian, Royal Caribbean, and Celebrity all have fresh juice options if you know to look for them. Ask your waiter on the first morning whether fresh juice is available, and if it is, order it every single day. It's one of those small upgrades that makes the entire breakfast experience feel elevated without costing much at all. The 9th hack combines 2 free items to create something that would cost you $6 at a specialty coffee bar. The complimentary coffee at the buffet is basic drip coffee. Most passengers dismiss it as mediocre and pay $5–7 for a latte at the ship's premium coffee bar instead. Here's the workaround. Grab a cup of regular coffee and add the free hot chocolate mix from the beverage station nearby. 1 packet stirred into black coffee gives you a rich, creamy mocha that tastes remarkably close to what you'd pay $6 for at Starbucks. You can also grab steamed milk from the tea and hot chocolate station on many ships and pour it into your regular coffee for a makeshift latte. Over a 7-day cruise, a 2-coffee-a-day habit at the specialty cafe adds up to nearly $100. This hack gives you a similar drink for free every single morning for the entire voyage. It went viral on TikTok when creator Professor Melissa shared it, and passengers have been doing it ever since. Another variation that works just as well. Some ships have soft-serve ice cream machines near the coffee station. A scoop of vanilla soft-serve stirred into hot coffee creates a creamy, sweet latte-style drink that's genuinely delicious and completely free. Passengers in the comments of that TikTok video called it the best cruise hack they'd ever heard, and it's the kind of trick that sounds too simple to work until you actually try it and realize you've been paying $6 a day for something you could have made in 10 seconds. The 10th hack is for anyone traveling with kids, and it solves one of the biggest breakfast frustrations families face on cruise ships. Children's menus are notoriously boring. Chicken nuggets, plain pasta, hot dogs. If your kid is even slightly adventurous, those options are useless. The hack is to ignore the children's menu entirely and order from the adult menu for your child. There's no rule that says kids have to order from the kids menu. You can request a half portion of any adult entree, and on most cruise lines, the kitchen will accommodate this without any issue. Want your 8-year-old to try the French toast? Order it. Want them to have the Eggs Benedict? Go for it. And remember the multiple item hack from earlier. Let your kid order the chicken nuggets as a safety net, and also try the adult pancakes or the smoked salmon. If they don't like the adventurous option, the nuggets are right there. No food wasted, no tears, and your child just got exposed to something new without any pressure. Parents who use this hack consistently say their kids start trying things they never would have touched at home, and it turns breakfast from a daily negotiation into a genuine family experience where everyone's eating something they actually enjoy. The cruise ship is the perfect environment for this because there's zero financial risk in ordering something adventurous. If it doesn't work, the safe option is already on the table. The 11th hack is the one I mentioned at the beginning. The one that crew members use to eat better than the passengers they serve. It's deceptively simple. They eat the rotating daily specials instead of the static, always available items. The main dining room menu has two sections. There's a list of items that are available every single morning. Things like scrambled eggs, bacon, pancakes, and cereal. And then there's a section of daily specials that change every day of the voyage. Most passengers default to the familiar static items because they feel safe. The crew members who eat from the passenger menu do the opposite. They go straight for the daily specials because those are the dishes the kitchen actually puts creative effort into. The specials change because the chef designed them to showcase what the kitchen does best on each particular morning. The static items exist for consistency and volume. The specials exist for quality and craft. One is the kitchen on autopilot. The other is the kitchen showing off. The passengers who order the specials eat noticeably better than the ones who play it safe every morning. And the only reason more people don't do it is because nobody tells them the specials are where the real food is. The 12th hack is about the pastry basket in the main dining room. And this is a detail that catches first-time cruisers off guard because they assume what arrives at the table is all that's available. When you sit down for breakfast, your waiter brings a basket of pastries that typically includes mini Danish pastries, muffins, and maybe a croissant. These are selected from the bakery's morning production, and they're good. But here's the hack. You can ask your waiter for specific types of bread and pastry that aren't in the standard basket. Many ships will bring you warm focaccia, ciabatta, sourdough, garlic bread, or freshly baked cinnamon rolls from the bakery that never make it into the default rotation. The bakery produces over a dozen varieties every single day, and only 3 or 4 end up in the standard basket. The rest are available if you ask. And here's the hidden benefit. When you ask for something specific, your waiter instantly registers you as a food-focused passenger. From that moment forward, the level of attention and service you receive for the rest of the meal goes up noticeably. You've just communicated without saying it directly that you care about the details, and good waiters always respond to that signal. And the 13th hack, the one that ties every other hack on this list together, is the simplest and most powerful of all. Learn your waiter's name on the first morning and use it every time you see them. Your dining room waiter serves the same section every single morning. Over the course of 7 breakfasts, they learn your face, your preferences, and your habits. When you learn their name and treat them like a human being instead of a service function, something shifts. They start remembering what you like without you asking. They bring your coffee before you sit down because they noticed you drink it first. They tell you which pastry the bakery made fresh that morning and which one has been sitting since yesterday. They let you know that tomorrow's specials include the stuffed French toast, which only appears twice during the sailing, so you don't accidentally miss it. A small cash tip on the first morning, even just $10 or $20, isn't expected, but it creates a ripple effect that lasts the entire week. The assistant waiter follows the lead. The head waiter checks on your table more often. The sommelier remembers what you ordered last night. One gesture of genuine appreciation on day 1 creates a cascade of better service for 6 more mornings that no amount of money at a specialty restaurant can replicate. Every hack on this list works better when your waiter is invested in making your breakfast extraordinary. And that investment starts the moment you stop calling them "excuse me" and start calling them by their name. Every one of these 13 hacks exists because cruise ship breakfast is a system, and like every system, it rewards the people who understand how it works. The buffet is designed for volume. The dining room is designed for experience. The bakery operates on a clock that favors early risers. The kitchen has flexibility that nobody advertises. And the waiter serving your table has the power to make your breakfast unforgettable if you give them a reason to. The passengers who know these 13 things eat better, waste less time, discover foods they'd never find on their own, and walk off the ship saying breakfast was the highlight of their entire cruise. The passengers who don't know them eat the same scrambled eggs every morning and wonder why everyone else seems to be having a better time. You now have all 13. Your next cruise breakfast starts differently than every one that came before it. Share this with whoever you're cruising with, because these hacks work best when everyone at the table knows the playbook. The difference between a forgettable cruise breakfast and an unforgettable one was never about the ship, the cruise line, or the price of ticket. It was about 13 things nobody told you until right now. If this changed how you think about eating on a cruise, You're going to want to see what we found when we ranked the best cruise breakfast foods from every major cruise line. That video is right here. Because the passengers who eat the best aren't the ones who spend the most. They're the ones who know where to look and what to ask for.